Peace everyone, Unmask Art here, and welcome to day 11 of Inktober. We're finally a third of the way through, more than a third of the way through. Only 20 more days left. Hopefully you guys are hanging on as well as I am, or better for that matter. Hopefully everybody was able to figure out the time of today's live stream. I shared it over on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. And I also mentioned at the beginning of yesterday's stream where you can find the live stream over on my channel homepage, so that after each stream you're able to go over there and see what time I'll be streaming. Hello Anna, thank you for being here so early. I know I started a few minutes early, so I'll take my time a little bit. So before I get into the drawing or sharing everyone else's drawings, because I have everyone's drawings ready to go to share, in the video description you'll notice a new link, and it's to my friend's film competition through Seed and Spark. And my friend Brock, he was my best friend during my childhood until he moved away when I was like, I believe 8. And he ended up moving to Florida when right around I was in 3rd or 4th grade. And it was pretty traumatic for me, but over the couple years now, we kind of got in contact with each other over Facebook. And it turns out he totally changed from what I remember him, but he has put together a few short films, and he has really started his career as a filmmaker, and I just love his passion, and I'm so grateful to get reconnected with him. But the reason I have the link in the description is because I wanted to ask you guys if you would help support him. Now, all you have to do is click on the link and then click follow. You don't have to do anything more than that. The competition is a pretty big deal. As you'll see when you click on the link, he has already raised over like $30,000 for his new movie. And the coolest part is the movie that he wrote is taking place in our hometown. So both, it's taking place where we grew up. That's where it's going to be filmed, and it's totally awesome. And I would love to see him win this competition. And right now he's in the top 10, which is super important. I won't go into too much detail, but if you could just click on that link in the description that says my friend's film competition and hit follow on the Seed and Spark site. You can read about it, you can watch the video and learn more about his film that he's making, but all you have to do is click follow, and that will really help him get to the next stage of the competition. So I just wanted to start with that, so thank you all very much. But before I get into drawing, let's go ahead and have a quick look at everyone's work that they sent me. So this first one here is from Abigail. This one's pretty funny. You can see Nugget's eyes popping up, and it says "you better run." Thought that was good. Here's another one. She did purplish pink elephant, which is really cool. I believe she did this one for Giant, which makes sense. Elephants are quite large. Here's one that Angel sent me with little Nugget and a giant pumpkin, or it could technically be a normal size pumpkin, but it's giant next to little Nugget there. Here's one from Anastasia, Draw Art Lab. You'll often see her in the live chat, but I like this one. I don't know if she's following the official prompts, but her drawings are really nice looking, so I wanted to share them. She's doing them for Inktober. And here's one from Mandy that I liked. She also did a giant pumpkin, and you can see little Nugget down at the bottom there. I really like the colors on that one. Here's another one that she did, that she sent me the other day that I didn't share yet. This is kind of a storyboard that I inspired her to do, so I thought that was cool. Here's one from Wicked Illusions. You often see her in the chat as well. Kind of a moth in pointillism. I thought that was really cool. I really like the texture. And of course we have Fine Art Anna. You'll see her always in the chat and her lovely work showing us all up for Inktober for sure. And here's one from Huang, and this one I really loved the contrast and the composition of it sitting in the clock like that. Here's another one. This one kind of gave me a Dr. Seuss kind of feel, but a little bit darker. I really liked the style. I think this one was for Crooked. Here's one from Doodle Stuff. He also did a Screech from Saved by the Bell, just like I did. And here's one from Corv, a bungee jumper. I believe this one was also for Screech, kind of like the screaming coming down. So I thought that was cool. Here's one from Mona. She did a heart being stabbed by a blade. She asked me for some insight. I told her to throw some red ink at it for that splatter. And that is it for the fan drawings today. Thank you all so much for sending those over to me. If you want your drawing to be shown in the next live stream, make sure you head over to my Facebook page. I have the link in the description. Just message me your final pieces and I will put them in the next live stream. Let me catch up with the chat. I noticed a few of you coming in. Hello, Wicked. Stephanie, hello. Mandy, Christy, welcome. Kalia, and Brenda. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm pretty excited about today's piece. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to hide some details. So we're gonna be working. We're going to be doing a little manga story for you guys again. This one's not going to be as complicated or crazy as the previous ones. I actually started this one last night, which was kind of shocking. I'm surprised that I had the energy for it, but I was in the mood and I was really trying to think about what I was going to do today. And a few of you noticed my post over on Facebook saying, you know how hard it is to make it, to draw a snail running. And to be honest with you, just getting this pose correct, the best that I could to make it look like a snail or a slug is running has been proven to be quite difficult, but I played around with it so much, just working out the anatomy of our little nugget friend here, and I finally settled on this pose that you see me inking now. This is only going to be 2 frames, so I have the top frame here, and then the bottom frame is going to kind of be revealed after I finish inking this one. We're going to have quite a few lines that I'm going to use the ruler for in a minute, but yeah, hopefully this one won't take me too long, because as many of you know, as I have mentioned in the previous streams, today is my first Polish class this evening, and I'm pretty excited, a little bit nervous, but overall I would say I'm excited for it. Hopefully you guys have had a good day so far, or a good morning wherever you're located at. I know some of you are east of me and some of you are west, so either way, hope you're having a good day, or you will have a good day. So I had a few ideas for today's prompt, which is run, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that. Today's prompt is run, although it is in the title, so if you missed it, then you just didn't read the title. And my original idea was to just draw a person running. Like that was my brilliant idea. I was just going to draw somebody running. And I had that idea and I was pretty sure I was going to do it. And then last night I was like, you know, everybody just loves our little nugget here. So I had to come up with a way to incorporate our little nugget slug buddy, and it was a lot harder than what I thought it was going to be, because what I did is I took my drawing tablet out and I was just sketching. I was working on the anatomy to kind of express this quick forward momentum, and it was tough, to say the least, to get it to still have that slug shape and personality. It was hard to get that perspective and get the anatomy to look correct, because I didn't want to distort him too much. I started off doing like really distorted looks, and it just wasn't working out because from my perspective I couldn't really tell I was even drawing a slug. So I needed to work on that a bit, and I finally came up with this pose, and I went through like 15 different iterations of this particular pose here, just to get this one right. I played around with his little eyes a lot because I did have them longer, but it didn't quite look right. It didn't capture it the way that I wanted it to. But anyway, I need to grab my ruler because it's time for everybody's favorite part of the drawing process, and that's 1,001 lines. I'm going to use a little bit thicker pen. You have friends asking for Where's Nugget Hidden Picture coloring book. That's a good one. That's a good idea. Actually, before I start using my ruler, I want to add a little bit of weight to my lines here and create a bit of perspective with the weight of my lines. So as Nugget gets closer to the viewer, the lines will get wider and wider. The story behind this is actually, there's not much of a story, to be completely honest. It's actually more of a meme. I guess that's the best I could come up with. And my wife and I, we were cooking pierogies last night. That's what we had for dinner. Anybody fan of pierogies? And while she was making the pierogi filling, because she makes the filling, I make the dough. That's how we work. And I was working on this pose or whatever, and then it just sparked like the idea of how I was going to do this. And I have to say that it's got to be the influence of memes, or constantly having to be subjected to memes 24/7. And so I guess that is the unconscious inspiration for the story behind this piece, because it turns out that it's just a meme. It might be the first of its kind too. All right, there's a little bit weight to the lines. Again, my ruler is too short, so I need to use, it's either this ruler or this giant one here, and this one's just like 10 centimeters too short or something. Hello, Christine, Silvern. I missed you guys coming in, so I want to make sure that I recognize that you're here. Thank you for coming to the live stream. For everyone that is in the live stream, if you wouldn't mind maybe giving the live stream a quick a quick share so that if anybody is missing it, they see that you posted it and they know that it's now available. Oh crap. I kind of messed up. I have to do this line first. Now this is where I gotta switch to my smaller ruler. I probably should have sketched it out a little bit with pencil first, because there's some effects that I want to create here, which you'll see in a moment. The effects to make it look like he's moving really fast. There we go. That's the effect that I needed to create before going any further, really. And I need to draw another line over here. You love pierogi. What are your favorite fillings? I love cheese, onion, and mushroom. Well, I don't know if you're aware. I mentioned it a few times now, but I'm vegan, so I don't have a lot of filling options, I guess you could say, with pierogi. But we always make the same. My wife always makes the same filling for our pierogi, and it is a mixture of potato, onion, and tofu, and it comes off as like kind of a cheesy taste. It's just perfect. I really couldn't even imagine a better filling. I never had pierogi until I had the ones that my wife makes, so I can't really speak on any other fillings other than the kind that my wife makes. So yeah, a little limit on my perspective there, but they are delicious nonetheless, and I have no desire whatsoever to add anything new. Sometimes we run out of filling and I make too much dough or something along those lines, and we'll like fill it with sauerkraut or something. And the sauerkraut ones aren't terrible either. They're pretty good. So every once in a while we'll have kind of a sauerkraut filled pierogi. You like your new Mircon pens, do you, Brenda? That's good. I'm glad. See our little nugget growing up and racing now. This whole thing will make a lot more sense once I put the text in. I don't know if you can see here, but I have the words mapped out. Have I tried any of the cheeses made from nuts? Yeah, I've had some of the vegan cheese alternatives. My favorite cheese is the Daya mozzarella, but unfortunately you can only get that in the States, as far as I know. That kind of stuff is not all that popular here in Poland, and so it's pretty difficult to find. the cheeses specifically is what I'm referring to. The milk alternatives, like I drink rice milk, so those are easy to find, stuff like that. But there was this one store that sold where we get our tofu and we get a lot of our other kind of vegan stuff. Unfortunately, it just closed, so we're a little out of luck. Gotta wait for that ink to dry because it's gonna smear. The store that we would go to unfortunately closed, so we're a bit out of luck on that front. And they sold us some vegan cheeses that were really good, unless you cooked them. That was the only downside. They weren't very flavorful if you put them on like a zeppicanca or a pizza or something along those lines. That was the only downside to it, but like uncooked, they were really tasty. It was hard not to just eat it straight from the pack because it was so good. I think that it would be the hardest food to give up would be cheese. Yeah, you know, when I bring up you know, going vegan to non-vegan people, that is mostly the food choice that they say they wouldn't be able to give up. But when I went vegan, the cheese was not even something that crossed my mind. I think it was more the meat that was the kind of the food group that I thought would have been hard to give up. But for cheese, there's so many alternatives. There's so many alternatives that cheese is actually one of the easiest things, in my opinion, to give up. And a lot of people, you know, they say like the alternative cheeses taste like plastic. If they taste like plastic, then you're probably trying the wrong brand or something like that, because even I agree with them that not all of them are very good, but there's some that are actually quite good. And yeah. But when it comes down to it, not very many people just buy cheese and they eat it. Like, there's not very many people that buy blocks of cheese, put it in their refrigerator, and then cut it up into cubes and then just eat plain cheese. They usually associate cheese with pizza and things as a topping, and not necessarily as just a food that you eat. And once you realize that, you can simply replace the cheese on so many things. I don't even put cheese on my pizzas anymore. I just fill it with a bunch of veggies and spinach, and I don't miss a single thing about it. But obviously everybody's different. Another thing that a lot of people are unaware of when you change your diet drastically like that is that your taste buds change and you start to like other foods differently than the way you remember liking them. And I think I've mentioned that before in the past as well. But my taste buds have changed so much since I changed my diet. There's food that I just absolutely love that I never really cared for much in the past. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. I apologize. Hopefully you guys aren't annoyed by my topic of discussion here. Do I like mushrooms in my food? I absolutely love mushrooms. Oh my goodness, I am such a huge fan of mushrooms. I cannot get enough mushrooms. I love mushrooms on my pizza. I love to just take mushrooms and fry them with a little bit of salt and pepper. That is like one of my favorite things. Fry them up, and then once they're done, add a little bit of hot sauce to them. Oh, I could eat that every day. I love mushrooms. I can actually take mushrooms and turn them into what tastes almost exactly like fried chicken. I just make a batter. I dip the mushrooms in the batter, and then I bread it, and then I deep fry it, and it tastes amazing. It kind of makes me want to make them right now, but I'm like right on the edge of where this ruler is just a tiny bit too short, and my other ruler is just a tiny bit too long. So I gotta make a few compromises here with my lines. Can you just eat mushrooms? Oh yes, absolutely. I can just take a raw mushroom and eat it. Yeah, absolutely. I like them that much. Yeah, definitely. I love the taste of mushrooms. There's almost no way that you can mess a mushroom up. This is a really strange topic. Oh, hello, Gihan and Hildy. I didn't see you come in. Oh, that's really cool, Christy. I didn't notice your comment about the vegan cheeses coming out. I like that I have so much in common with so many of you. There's quite a few of you that are vegan, and for those of you that know Sheldine, she is also vegan, which I thought is really cool. It's just, you know, I think that seems to be pretty fairly common among artists, I guess, is to be vegan. So it must be pretty common among a few of you in the chat. So I'm just going to fill in this with black here, and that will be it for the top section, with the exception of the words. I think like what I did last time is I'm going to leave the words for the last part of the drawing here, and then once I'm finished with all the inking, I will write in the words so you guys can kind of experience the story. This one's actually not going to take that long. Today's stream is actually going to be fairly short, partly because I planned it out so well, and I kept it fairly straightforward. So there's our speedy little slug nugget. I think I need to add a few lines to him as well. Maybe. I don't know. I kind of like him just there like that. What do you guys think? Does that look pretty good? Does he look like he's going quick? Like he's rushing somebody, rushing somewhere? Have I tried Polet oats? I don't know. I'm not sure. I've tried a few different kinds of oats. I think they're referred to as oats. I'm not sure, but one of the things that we eat, the kasha bulgur, but I don't know what it is in English, so I only know it in Polish. Hello, J Ray. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. What pens do I use to shade? I'm using colored pencils. I'm not sure how to answer that question. What pens do I use to shade? I'm using colored pencils. For shading, you can use any. It just depends on how you shade, I guess. But for cross hatching, I like to use the thinner, like the 01 here, which is a 0.2 millimeter, 0.25 millimeter. All right, let's come down here to the next scene, and I think I'm gonna start. I think I'm gonna just start with Nugget here. If you can see him, he's just a teeny tiny little thing in this scene, but I'm gonna try my best to get as much detail as I can. His little eye antenna thingies are hard to draw with two lines right next to each other, but I think I managed it pretty well. And his little mouth is kind of frowning in determination. Try to get his eyes the best that I can. It's hard to work this small with a pen that is actually quite wide still for this tiny drawing here. And I'm going to add a little bit of slimy gooiness behind him, a trail of goo. And there we go. Just really small. You can barely see it. Buckwheat grouts. Yeah, I think that might be what they're supposed to be. Alright, now on to my character over here, which will pretty much explain what's happening here. Once I draw her, you'll realize, okay, something's not right. Something is wrong with the first scene once you see her expression clearly enough. She is quite unamused by our little slug nugget. Alright, so that's her face. So from her facial expression, you might be able to discern a few things about my little story going on here. Alright, I'm going to draw in the rest of her hair and then color it in. Because her hair is going to be black. So you might be able to guess at this point. You might be able to guess at this point what's happening between these two scenes. But the words are going to make it much more obvious. So, especially when I put the words in for the first scene. Once those words are in, you'll totally get what's happening here. I don't quite have the top of her head drawn in. I just want to make sure that I'm putting it in the right location. Yeah, that's close enough, I think. There we go. And for her bangs, just gonna do this type of thing here. I kind of probably shouldn't have designed her bangs the way that I did, because I did black hair, and then I wasn't really thinking all that well for how I should have done it, but whatever. I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna work in the highlight of her hair now. This will make more sense when I color it in. Just bear with me a bit. She is mad at him for not doing the dishes. Oh, good morning, Kelly. Hello, Duke. Is it a slug race and she's losing a bet? No, not quite that. Although it's a good possibility for her to be looking at him in this manner, but not exactly the issue that is occurring right now. Alright, now I'm going to grab the black and just color in. Oh wait, actually before I do that, I want to erase any of my excess graphite. That way I get nice clean lines. So I don't know if you can see the words here, but it's in Japanese, and I'll explain that in a moment, what the meaning of that hiragana there means. Guess I can probably use my larger brush pen. I'm actually almost done with this. Once I color in her hair, all I have to do is the words, and then from there, that will be it. So I guess I gave myself kind of an easy one today, although it wouldn't have been this easy had you been there while I was working on it yesterday evening. Oh, thank you, Kelly. I'm glad that you enjoy these mini manga pages, as I like to call them. But this one's gonna definitely be one of the easier ones that I've done. It's funny because I had all these ideas previously, and I would have most likely committed to them had it been for the invention, the unintentional invention of our little slug buddy Nugget. So your guys' fandom of our little Nugget here has really totally shifted my previous intention of a lot of what I was going to do for Inktober, which is kind of funny. You guys drastically altered the original ideas that I had for Inktober, but I think it's actually for the benefit, because now it's just so much fun to do. I was actually really tired before this stream, but since I started streaming and coloring or inking here a bit, I kind of got rejuvenated. So thank you guys for making me feel a little bit better. I was getting a little worried that I was going to have to fight to stay awake during my first Polish class tonight, but it looks like I'll be okay from now on. So yeah, it really is becoming Slugtober. Alright, just about done with this side of her head. Now I'm going to work in the bangs a bit, and I'm going to fill in the bottom parts and kind of feather it up towards the broken up edge up here as it goes in, as it works into the highlight. And then I'm going to use just a little bit of marker to shade her hair. Just give it a little bit more, I guess, value or value changes. See, I was worried that it was going to mask her expression too much, the way that I did the bangs, but I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it ended up being fine in the long term. Almost finished with her hair. And then I'll just move on to the letters, and this piece will be complete. I think this is going to be one of my shortest live streams for Inktober so far. I feel like this one, it's either just going really quickly for me, or it really is just that short. There we go, and then she's gonna have a little flyaway hair over there, just to exaggerate her disgust or her just level of unamusement, because that's the facial expression that I was going for. I wanted her to just be really unamused. She's not impressed, as you can see. Very, very unimpressed. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of marker here to accentuate that highlight. You're 3 behind, that's no good. Oh yes, Briss, I hope that you're able to catch up as well. Alright, so that's the way I wanted to do the hair. I think I might add just a lighter color, a little bit of a lighter color around the edge over here. There. Softens that up a little bit. And I think I might add a little bit to our little nugget here, just so that he sticks out off the page just a tiny bit more. I'm just going to color him in with flat gray. There. He just sticks off the page a little bit better, I think, in my opinion. Alright, now let's grab this pen, and I'm going to come in here and start with my Japanese letters. And like I said, I'll explain what the Japanese is once I finish the other words. Well, actually, no, I'll just explain it while I'm lettering it. So what it says is gonyo gonyo, and it's the Japanese onomatopoeia for a person muttering to themselves. So that's what the Japanese here means. It's the sound of a person muttering to themselves. Gonyo gonyo. That's how you say it. So she's sitting here with her unamused expression, muttering to herself. All right. So as I'm doing this, I want to just quickly mention again the link that is in the description of the video here, that is a link to my friend's film contest. So if you missed me talking about it in the beginning of the live stream, if you would do me and him a huge favor, he's just a really good friend of mine, and he's working on getting together a film, and all you have to do is click on that link and click follow. You don't have to like sign up or donate or anything weird. You just have to click follow, and that's going to help him win this competition. He's really close to really winning this competition. So if you could do that for him and myself, that would be super awesome. It's going to be so that he has already written the film, but it's if he wins the competition, it gets to be filmed in our hometown, which is like super cool, because we grew up in just a tiny pointless town that nobody ever knows about, and it would just be really cool to have that happen. Alright, I'm going to start filling in the words now. So here's, I don't know if you caught it. Actually, I need to erase some of the graphite that's there. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to start filling in the words. So let's go back up here, and I think this is where the real comedy is going to come out. Kind of wish I had calligraphy pens so that I could do these letters a little bit wider in a single stroke. Sorry, this takes a little bit more concentration, because if I speak, I'm afraid that I might just misspell a word. Almost done. I think most of you are probably going to know what's happening next in the words. Oh, hello WD-40. I think you mentioned your name. If I'm not mistaken, your name is John. But correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, so here's the rest of the words for you. All right, so that's the whole story. There, can you see it all? That's the whole story. How Nugget feels when he runs, how you feel when he runs. I'm going to erase the last bit of graphite here. And that will be it for today's Inktober prompt. This one was fun to come up with, and you can ask my wife. When this idea popped into my head, the first thing I did was run to the kitchen while she was still working on stuff, and I said to her, I said, I came up with the perfect idea. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And then I immediately got started on it, and this is what I came up with. It was one of those pieces that as I was planning, I was laughing to myself a little bit, especially when I came up with that, like just making a slug look like he's going super fast was fun enough to come up with. Okay, Abigail, you take care. I'm going to be jumping off here in a minute or so anyway. Yes, so that is it for today, everyone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure that you send me your finished Inktober pieces. Come on, I know a few of you need to catch up, so get on it and send me those over on Facebook so that I can share them tomorrow. I would like to get enough today or within the next day to have enough to justify sharing them on tomorrow's live stream. So make sure that you send those to me. And then also, once again, please click on my friend's link in the description and just follow the Seed and Spark page. That's all he needs. He just needs a follow. If all you do is follow and ignore everything that happens after, I won't hold that against you, but that's all he needs, and it's a really great opportunity for him. And if that's all it takes, I mean, I'm really not asking that much. So I appreciate those of you that do that, and I appreciate everybody coming to today's live stream. I'm glad you were able to make it. Tomorrow's live stream is actually going to be a little bit later, so actually it's going to start 3 hours later than this one. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Tomorrow's prompt, what is tomorrow's prompt? I think tomorrow's prompt is Shattered, in which case I have that one fully fleshed out, ready to go. I'm ready to draw that one. So that one will be fun. And yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Take care. Peace.